This is the Talks with Ramana Maharshi satsang, a time to listen, reflect, and to deeply inquire into the self. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke, hosting this satsang. I'm a seeker, like you, sharing what we love. I've been blessed with years of deep teaching and practice that I bring to this satsang. I'm reviewing the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, and today it is talk number 6. A question was asked by a monk about how to prevent the mind from being distracted. Maharshi, you see the objects on forgetting your own self. If you keep hold of yourself, you will not see the objective world. The mind sees only objects. The mind sees only an objective world. That's why you can't see yourself with the mind. Who you are is not an object. You are the subject. When you keep hold of yourself, as Ramana says, you stay as consciousness, the substrate of the mind. You stay as that which gives the mind its awareness. And in this awareness that you are, there is nothing that is objective. Everything is within this awareness. This means that as you keep hold of yourself, there is only non-objective awareness. In this non-objective awareness, the mind, the worlds, and everything and everyone in it are within this consciousness. They are all within you, since this consciousness is who you are. So it is not so much a matter of whether or not the world is real, it is whether you are in the world as a separate entity or the world is in you, the non-dual awareness that lights up the universe. If there is a world separate from you, then it's real. If there is only a world within you, then that world has a reality that is borrowed, so to say, from you and your reality. You are always real. You could say that since I am real, what is within me is also real, but the reality it has is non-objective. What is objective is known by the mind. Are you the mind, or are you the knower of the mind? Look at this question right now. It is kind of funny to ask this question because you know that you are the knower. Who else could you possibly be? If you continue to investigate who knows, you come to a place where you can see the known and know that the knower, though it cannot be perceived by the mind, so unknown by the mind, the knower is always there. You can't know this knower, you can only be this knower. Self-inquiry is not really about knowing who you are, it is more about being who you are. You know by being, like you know that you exist. Now, my teacher Nome with a discourse, Abide as the Self.
The self is absolute existence. That is without beginning and without end. Utterly undifferentiated. This existence is illimitable. If the self is realized as such, that which knows and that which is known are one and the same thing. Existence knows itself with sense-transcendent, mind-transcendent knowledge. If the self is not known, that which does not know actually does not exist. The self cannot harbor any ignorance regarding itself, being of the nature of knowledge or consciousness itself. Another, the non-self, how could that ever know the self? And as the self is existence, the non-knower would be non-existent. Sri Bhagavan, Ribhu, and others exhort those who would be wise to abide as the self. What does it mean? Certainly there are not two selves that one would abide as or realize the other. The self is only one. It implies an absence of misidentification, which alone constitutes ignorance. Ignorance in turn alone constitutes bondage and is the root cause of all suffering. To be free of such, abide as the self. What does it mean? It means knowledge, bereft of ignorance, devoid of misidentification. It is a matter of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, not mere sensations and not mere thinking, but knowledge. For this knowledge, inquire within yourself to know the nature of your existence, the nature of the innermost consciousness. Abandoning any tendency to misidentify with the body, which is most certainly not the self. Inquire as to the true significance of I, that which you truly are, what is your very existence, is always. So inquire to find that which ever exists within you. It cannot be anything objective, subtle or gross, thought or sensation, for these are all perceived to come and go. Moreover, they are unreal. Their coming and going and their transience is not the definition of their unreality, but it is indicative of it. What are you? What are you always? Your existence is unchanged by the states, activities, and conditions and such of the body. What is this existence? Your existence remains unchanged through the passage of various states and conditions of the mind, such as waking, dreaming, and deep dreamless sleep. What is that existence? To clearly identify yourself as the existence alone, and not the content of the mind and its states, and not the body and the content of the sensations with their attributes, is the dawning of knowledge, true knowledge, self-knowledge. For such knowledge, inquire, who am I? The nature of the inquirer alone is the answer. Know yourself. That is the infinite and eternal existence. That is Brahman. That is the self. The only self there actually is. So then, if you know yourself, the absolute reality comprehends itself. If you suppose that you do not know the self, who is it that does not know? Like this, making your vision non-objective, inquire to know who you are.
And now we will take a few minutes and inquire, investigate within ourselves. Breathe in and out with long, slow breaths. Feel the breath as it comes in and as it goes out. Feel your mind quiet. Notice that you exist. You exist and you know you exist without feeling it or thinking about it. It's self-evident. You just know. Already this is beyond senses or thought. We're going to inquire and investigate within ourselves. When you inquire, for whom is the inquiry? Is it for your mind or for something deeper than the mind, yourself? It must be for the mind, since the self knows itself already. Inquiry is consciousness looking at consciousness. Can you ever know consciousness objectively? You know, but who knows? Is it the mind or something deeper? Can you know yourself, or must you just be yourself? You can't know yourself objectively. You're not an object, but you do know yourself. How do you know yourself? Now inquire, who am I? What is the nature of my existence? All right, let's close with a chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Comments or questions?
Mm. It was just very, very peaceful.
Good, that's what we want.
Mm.
So thank you for letting me share this teaching with you. And next week I'll continue with talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Namaste.
Namaste.